What's up, everyone? I hope you're having a good day. Today we have 6 new jerseys to react to. These are PWHL jerseys. If you don't know what the PWHL is, it is the new Women's Hockey League, and the PWHL is streamed on YouTube for free. It is a extremely easy sport to get into watching and become a fan of. That being said, I don't have a favorite team because I am a Pittsburgh fan, and there is not a Pittsburgh PWHL team yet. But let's talk about these new jerseys just released. And these aren't just new jerseys, these are the first PWHL jerseys. There's 6 of them. That's because in their first inaugural season, all the teams decided to just go with a color and then the branding of their city with no name. But now we have team names, we have logos, we have different colors for some teams, and then we have an overall jersey template that most of these sweaters are going to follow. All right, before I get into any specific jersey, I just want to give some comments on the template. So I really like what they did with the collar here. I like that all the collars have the same exact format. You got this middle piece that's going to be a different color than the other sides of the neckline, and then in the middle you have the PWHL logo there. I think that's a great look, kind of resembles what the NHL does with their jersey. And then below it you have the sponsor of the jersey creator, which is going to be Bauer, and I think Bauer is a solid brand to have making your jerseys. It makes a lot more sense than some other brands that I won't mention that are making hockey jerseys for the other leagues around the world. But Bauer makes a lot of sense. Bauer is probably the #1 hockey brand when you think of hockey brands. So it's a perfect pairing for their jerseys. Alrighty, let's look at our first team here. I'm just randomly selecting these. I also have never seen these, so this is going to be my first blind reaction. I first selected the Boston Fleet, and these jerseys retail for about 135 USD, which I think is a pretty fair price, especially if you take into account the quality of the jersey is very nice, but also the popularity of the league is fairly low. So it's a fair price. You're kind of meeting them in the middle with what a NHL jersey would cost to make, and like the popularity or the want for the jersey. I foresee these jerseys selling a lot more as the league grows, but right now this is just their second year. So really only the biggest fans of the teams will be having these, which is really cool actually. So it is tempting to buy one of these as it is a pretty important historical mark of like the inaugural team and second season where these teams got their names. Alrighty, so taking a look at this jersey for Boston, I noticed that it has a very unique arm striping pattern I really have never seen before. We get these stripes with a little bit of shadowing above them, so they're kind of like off-white, and then they have this gray shadow above each one. It's basically another stripe, but it's creating this like shadow effect. It actually reminds me of a lot of like the Sabres jersey. But one thing that really stands out to me is that these stripes don't go all the way around the whole sleeve. Now, the waist stripe goes all the way around the whole jersey. So I would have to assume this is intentional and this isn't like a limitation on their design that they wanted to do. Usually I hate this. So there's certain NFL teams that have a stripe on their sleeve that doesn't go all the way around. I think 49ers are one. I can't think of the other ones, but it really irritates me. Now this though, since we have these 4 stripes here and they kind of like serve as like a I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like they serve as kind of like gauntlets in a way. They're really, really unique, but they don't go all the way around, and I'm okay with that. I actually like how it looks. It's actually like very unique looking. And then we have Bauer's logo down on that waist. That looks pretty good. No complaints there. And then up to the shoulder patches. So we have the PWHL branding on the shoulder. That looks good. It looks like it's also made with some vinyl material, just like the rest of the jersey. That's awesome. So when it gets washed or over time, it's not just going to peel off. Looks like it's very solid material. And I really like this PWHL logo. And they're a new brand, so you got to get the brand in there so that it makes people aware of what they're looking at when they see this jersey. And of course, the elephant in the room, I've been saving the best for last. We have that awesome B logo. All right, so their name is the Fleet, and what do we get? We get a anchor that's sideways and also shapes into a B, and then we also get some wave-like squiggles inside of this. I really like the black backdrop that the B has. It makes it look super sharp and clean. I like that the green, I don't know if the white is making it seem like a lighter green or if it's the same green as the jersey base color, but I like that it kind of pops a little bit more. It probably is a little bit lighter forest green, but I really like that color on the logo. Yeah, and those like sharp, jagged edges of that anchor looks so cool. Makes me almost think, is this an anchor or is it like a fishing hook? I don't know. But yeah, I think this looks great. The shoulders, the blockiness of it, of the template is a little odd, but what are you going to do? That's the template. But everything else, I really like it. But I like this jersey a lot. I mean, I'm going to be honest. The only thing I think I would have changed was because they have that gray kind of shadow effect on these stripes. I think I would have added like a gray stripe to separate the white on the shoulders from the green, or a white stripe. I can't tell if the shoulders are that gray color or that white color. I think it's actually the gray, but I would have another stripe with either the white or the gray separating the shoulders. All right, moving on to the jersey that has the font on the back, we have a player, Knight. I am not very aware of the all-star players in the PWHL, so I'm assuming Knight is one of the best players on this team. But the important part is this font. You get this really interesting blocky too, and then you have what looks like from afar, kind of like, I would say like collegiate, like designing collegiate cross stitching on the numbers. But if you look closer, it is the wave pattern from the logo on the number. I like that a lot. I like how far away it looks like it's just kind of like a cool design, but then close up, it's like, oh, they're extending the waves from the logo to the numbers. I also really like this like grayish kind of sea foam green color for the kit here. Really big fan of this. And that's going to do it for the Boston Fleet jersey. And I got to say, if I were to rank this one, I haven't looked at the other jerseys, so it's kind of unfortunate. Maybe I'll have to come back, but I would probably put this as my number one. This is probably my favorite, but I haven't seen the other ones yet. So I'll just give you a ranking out of 10. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is a stellar jersey. Okay. Moving on to our next jersey, we've got the Sirens, and we've got the Sirens from New York. And I'm going to start with the logo this time because I think the logo is the most interesting thing about this jersey. You have this backdrop here that's very subtle, but essentially you have like different angles with these letters. Really the letters just blown up super big. You get the huge N and then a big Y here for New York, but the striping in it is so simple and minimalist that it almost just looks like it's just a cool design in the background. It's super subtle NY in that middle, and it's placed into this like rhombus shape that I really like. I like the outline of the dark blue and then the orange. I think that's awesome. And then the coolest part of this, which is the Siren font, they've decided to go with this like ripple effect on either side of the S. And that really reminds me of a audio wave, or how sound waves ripple across. That's kind of what that represents to me. It may represent something else to other people, but I think that's a really cool detail in there. And it really makes this logo move. It gives it energy, draws the eye to it. This is an awesome logo, especially for a wordmark logo. They really added a lot of graphic detail to this to make it more than just the name of the team. This is also probably going to be one of my favorite collars. I love orange, and I really like that orange collar with the dark blue backdrop on the shoulders. The striping is good too. It reminds me of like the Penguins, or other reverse retros we've gotten with this like diagonal striping. I believe the Caps have it too. There's lots of teams with this diagonal striping on the sleeve, but I really think they hit a home run here with this like teal color, separated by gray and orange. I think gray and orange is a great color combination that's not used enough. And then to separate the very colorful top of the jersey, we're going to have this dark blue sleeve at the bottom, and then the hem is going to be this dark blue, which basically really makes it symmetrical with the shoulders and the bottom of the jersey. I am in love. This is so good. Now, as we talked about with the Boston Fleet, we have the numbers having this pattern on them. I will say, if this is part of the template that all the numbers get this line pattern, that is a little bit of a disadvantage to teams that don't have a third kind of style or graphic. It worked really well with the Boston because they had the little waves inside the logo. On this one, though, we are just getting lines on either side of the number. And I'll be honest, this doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't match the theme of the rest of the jersey. I think this would have looked better just having the 30 be plain. But I'm assuming that as I look at more of these jerseys, these lines on the numbers are going to be something part of the jersey template that they had to add. All right, so for New York's jersey, I think I'm going to have to give that an 8.5 out of 10. If that's not better than Boston's, it's just the next runner up. It is so good. All right, moving on to the Minnesota Frost. Okay, we have a purple and a pink. We also have an interesting striping pattern with a rectangle that's thin and then a longer rectangle. Reminds me a lot of the Penguins 2000s Vegas Gold jersey, if you remember that one. But I gave a lot of credit to Boston for this stripe that doesn't go all the way around. And I am realizing now that these are part of the template. So they couldn't figure out, or at least Bauer didn't offer a template with stripes to go all the way around. So it's less unique now for this one. Unfortunately, that's just the order I went with. So I can't really give these stripes credit for not going all the way around. It actually doesn't look very good. I think this would be better if the stripes filled the whole sleeve, but it is what it is. I'll try to imagine it's not there. But I would say that this collar is doing too much with color. It has this purple outline on the top, but then the bottom purple doesn't extend into the pink when it goes to the white shoulders. It's doing a little bit too much with color. Personally, I think it would have looked better if some white was added to the collar. Maybe at that top stripe would have been white, or made the middle of the collar white where the purple is. I don't know. It looks like there's too much going on. And I didn't see this on the other jerseys unless it was hidden somewhere. But this team has an ad patch already, which is very interesting. An ad patch already, their second season in. The first jersey inaugural jersey is going to have an ad patch. So Woody Creek Distillers is our ad. I mean, at least the colors match. That's a big problem with the NHL is the ads are added to jerseys where the colors are totally contrasting with the rest of the jersey. But ads is a big no-no for me in any form. Yeah, it's pink. It is a women's league, and pink is predominantly a color appreciated by women. So I don't want to take away for the colors. So I'm going to take away from this jersey in another area, and that's going to be the logo. I think the logo is not balanced. If I had this in a graphic, like some sort of graphic design program, I would click on the F and I would hit that rotate button. I would rotate the base of this. I would rotate the base of this a little bit to the right and make this whole thing a little more balanced on the front of the jersey. Right now you have stuff going on in the top right of the jersey, but a huge open space in the bottom right or bottom left, depending on if you're wearing the jersey. And then you have the same effect on the opposite side. And the logo is just an F. So it's not that it's like this really unique logo or image that we had to, figure out how to put onto the front of this jersey. It's just an F. Just redesign it. I don't really get how unsymmetrical or why is so unsymmetrical. It's also going to be like a pain in the ass to wear because you're always going to have like one side getting like bent as you sit down and stuff. But overall, I do like the beveling that's on the crest here. The white outline makes it pop pretty well. But yeah, it's like crooked. So I would say I'd give this jersey like a 6 out of 10. We'll see if it's my least favorite jersey as we go along. And I'm getting way too ahead of myself because I didn't even look at the numbers. Way out of order here. But yeah, the numbers, it's very clear to me that every team has to have some sort of pattern in their font on the number kit. I don't know why. I don't really get why that's like a requirement for the template. But yeah, it basically has like the F shape that's been blacked out and it's really small and it's just like alternately repeated up and down. To me, it's like a little bit better than the lines for the Sirens, but a lot worse than Boston's. All right, sorry for going out of order there with what we were doing. So that's going to get ranked 6 out of 10. So far what we have in my mind is Boston, number 1, the New York Sirens, 2, and then Minnesota Frost, probably looking around last. We'll see. Maybe there's a worse jersey out there. I don't know. All right. I'm going to move on to the Toronto Scepters. Scepter. When I think of Scepter, I think of royalty. I think of a big staff. I don't think of Toronto, but I'm sure there's some historical background as to why they would be the Scepters. But they definitely capitalize on a unique logo here. So they've created a scepter out of the letters T and S. Toronto Scepters. You have this nice kind of a spike at the top with this like globe underneath it. And it all has a very 2D design to it. Kind of reminds me of something you would see in a newspaper. Very official looking. I do like the X's that continue down the T and kind of mark where the S punctures the T. That's pretty cool. It is 2D, but it kind of gets a 3D effect from that depending on how you look at the S. This one, the collar kind of irks me because unlike the last one where it had a bunch of different layers, this collar just has this gold that they're using and then dark blue and like no other borders, and it looks honestly a little bit ugly when it goes up into the shoulders area. And this, noticing this now, has a sponsor on the chest area. Couldn't tell you what that sponsor is, but really doesn't take away too much from the jersey, being that there's no name of a business. It just looks like this some sort of like graphic design for the business. I'm a little bit confused because on this it looks like the stripes of this jersey do go all the way around the arm. So that must mean it was intentional for the Frost in Boston to have the stripes kind of not go all the way around and end on the top, because clearly this team has done it. But these stripes, something's off about them. I think the sleeve, they're too low on the sleeve. I think stripes need to be kind of closer to the elbow. And then you have this like long blue stripe that you would think would be like the base stripe that would finish out the entire sleeve, but it like stops awkwardly in this like kind of like swooping pattern, and then it goes back to the base color. It looks almost like jewelry, like you're wearing like bracelets or something. But I don't like how thin the gold stripes are. It's kind of reminiscent of a St. Louis Blues jersey, but I just think these stripes are too low, and then the gold stripe is too thin. But other than that, it's okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture here of what their font is going to look like, because I can't find a jersey for sale that has a player on it right now at this moment. But I'm assuming it's going to have some sort of design on the font. But I like it. I think it's a good middle of the road jersey. They do have some hard competition though. They're competing with like the Maple Leafs, who have one of the nicest jerseys and colors in the NHL. So yeah, they don't really stand up very well against the Maple Leafs jersey, but it is what it is. I'm going to say this is probably a 6.5 or 7 out of 10, so we can put it above the Frost, but it's not much better. Anyhow, moving on. Okay, we had the Montreal Victoire. I believe that's how you say it. The Victoire. All right, regarding this Victoire jersey, I actually think that this has the best neckline stripe. I like that they didn't try to separate it with black. They just let it kind of melt into the backdrop of the nice maroon color they have. You know, I love maroon, and I think if you have maroon as your color, you should use it as much as you can, and this jersey does that. Now, I'm really wondering, okay, so this is the first jersey I saw that has an additional shoulder patch. Maybe I missed that on the last one. But we have a red triangle that doesn't match the maroon, with a leaf on the top. Victoire. This must be Ottawa, right? No, this is Montreal. Look at me. Yeah, so Montreal. All right. And we have the Canadian patch there. I don't know if that's an ad for Canada or if that's just like they wanted a Canadian leaf as a patch. So I think we have two patches on this jersey. Oh, it's Air Canada. Sorry. We have Air Canada as the sponsor. And then we have another Canadian themed patch on the shoulder. Don't know what it means. I do find it odd, though, that it's not the same red, or even adding another red color to a maroon-based jersey. It does not look very good, but I'm going to ignore the patches because we don't always get to choose what the patches are, especially with ads. But I really want to focus on this absolutely gorgeous crest. So we get like a kind of like a shield design, kind of like Captain America. And we have this lovely font. Man, that is a nice font. Take a second. I really appreciate the edges on that. And I like how they kind of bent the E and the V to mimic the shape of this diamond shape in the middle. And I also really like this really cool kind of like winged formation. And then I really like the different geometric shapes that we have here. We got some rhombuses, triangles, and they're all being kind of like put together in a mosaic to create this really nice winged image here. I don't know what the Victoire is supposed to be, but to me, I would assume it's like a hawk or something. And then in the middle, we have what looks like to me is a Le Fleur de Lis, similar to like what the New Orleans Saints have. So I really like maroon, dark blue, and then a khaki or tan. I think it's probably one of the best color combinations you could go with. Whenever I make my own team in NHL, it's usually going to be something that looks like this. My biggest gripe with this jersey, though, is going to be the light blue stripe randomly placed to separate the dark blue and the cream on the base. Why in the world did we just add a random color that isn't used in the crest or the shoulders to the bottom of the jersey? This is the jersey of random colors because we got some Canadian red on our patches, and then we have a random baby blue stripe here. Doesn't really match the color scheme at all anyways. And then we have, on the sleeves at least they got it right. They got a very nice large stripe that's dark blue to finish out the sleeve. And then on top of it, they really make it pop with that tan or cream. I love the logo and I love a lot of the color schemes they have here, but there are some things that just stick out to me like a sore thumb, like that blue stripe on the bottom and the patches. But I think the logo is cool enough to give it a 7 out of 10. So this is probably going to be my third place jersey here, right behind the New York Siren. Okay, last but not least, we have the Ottawa Charge. I'm going to say it right now, the Charge is probably my least favorite name out of all these names. It's super corny name, super generic. And then let's take a look. It looks like we've got a very similar color scheme as the Wild, Minnesota Wild. And we've got, I can't even tell you, is it an O for Ottawa? Is it a C because it's not fully closed for Charge? Maybe it's both. But one thing it is a ugly ass logo. It almost like the speed marks coming off of it almost make it look like a claw or just something that isn't what it's supposed to be. Also, the red backdrop in the middle of the O looks terrible. I think they should have separated something about this with black to make it stand out more instead of this dark green. It does not look like it really stands out well on this jersey, and it's super unbalanced. I don't even know what to say about this. The edges and the angles also look terrible. And I like this color combination except for this yellow, orange, cream, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. It's like a darker, I guess it's just yellow, but next to the red, it looks a little orangish. But that's ugly. And I definitely would have flipped the striping here on the waist and the sleeves. I don't think it looks good at all to have the outside be this dark green. I think you should have had the outside be gray, then you should have had dark green, and then you could have kept the yellow stripe. That's fine. And these stripes are generic. This is super generic. There's nothing really unique about this jersey. I will say the only thing this jersey kind of got right was the collar. Looks decent. It doesn't look horrible. I like that the collar is gray with the green in the middle. So we don't have number font for this either, but I could just assume that it's probably going to be either some of the patterns from the logo repeated. Either way, this jersey actually managed to take Frost's spot in last place. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. I think this looks goofy and terrible. The name's terrible. 4 out of 10, which sucks because I really like Ottawa. But I can't get behind this jersey, unfortunately. Alrighty. That's going to be all the jerseys. Let me know in the comments what you think of these jerseys. Which ones are your favorite? Are you going to watch PWHL games? Who are you going to root for? Like I said, I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I'm still waiting for the Pittsburgh team to be an expansion team for this league. But I guess I could throw my hat in the ring. But I guess I could pick a team to root for this season. And I think me being a jersey collector, I should pick it based on how much I like the jersey. So yeah, I've been to Boston before. I took a tour. I went to Bunker Hill. I went to Salem. Got to experience the Salem witch trials firsthand. And yeah, I tried a cannoli from like the inventor of the cannolis in Boston, and their jersey's the best. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm gonna root for Boston in the PWHL. That's my team. Saying it now until Pittsburgh gets a team. So yeah, go Fleet. Anyways, this is going to be the end of the video. It would mean a lot to me if you guys gave me a like and subscribed. I have much more hockey content coming with game reviews, jersey reviews. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell also so you can get notifications for when I post new videos on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.